Hello everyone, we are from Group 1 and today we are going to talk about lexical relations part 1. So there are 6 topics that we are going to talk about. The first one is about lexical fields, the second one is kinship, the third one is hyponymy, the fourth one is synonyms, the fifth one is antonyms, and the last but not least is about binary and non-binary antonymy. The first thing that we are going to talk about is lexical fields. Lexical fields is a theory regarding words in which the meaning of words are acquired through the relationship to other words in the same word field. Usually, members of a set have something in common. For example, in the sports set, there are soccer, basketball, and badminton. And in color set, there are red, pink, and yellow. So in a set, usually they have the same characteristics. In sports set, the activity are competitive physical activities, and they are made to maintain or improve physical ability. There are some kinds of relationships in lexical fields. The first one is part-whole relationship, and here we have some examples. The first one is arm, and the second one is day. So in arm includes hand, which automatically includes finger. So in part-whole relationship, it consists of things that are part of the set and that make the set as a whole. In arm, hand and fingers are included, so it would make arm as a whole. And another example is day. It includes hour, minute, and second, and it is also hierarchical. What it means is that there is an order of rank, and in this case, day consists of 24 hours, which can be divided into smaller parts, which is minutes, and smallest part, which is second. The second kind of relationship is sequential. Some sets are sequential, for example, numbers, and it forms order or sequence. That's why numbers such as 1, 2, 3, it forms order or it forms sequence. The third one is cyclical. So in cyclical here we have months and also days and season. So in cyclical, it is set of words that are going in cycles, such as name of months, days, or seasons, which all of them are going in cycles. It repeats and going over and over again. And the last one, some sets, mostly the small ones, they would form paradigms. So here the paradigm would provide definitions and analogies. Because paradigms provide definitions and analogies, they show that lexemes are systematically related. For example, here we have the definitions of man and woman. Man is an adult male human, meanwhile woman is an adult female human. And we have the analogies. So man is used to describe an adult male human, and boy is used for a male human child. And woman is used to describe an adult female human, meanwhile girl is used for a female human child. The next one is we're going to talk about componential analysis. So using square brackets to indicate such semantic features, male, female, and adult child are the features or components that differentiate the members of the set from one another. The determination of such features has been called componential analysis. Componential analysis tells what something is by requiring us to tell what is not, what it contrasts with, and what feature or features that make the contrast possible. In paradigms, we briefly talk about definition. So definition can be made through binary features. For example, here, instead of using just male and female, the labels can be changed into using one of them, and then we can change the sign. For example, here, if it is male, then we can write it as plus male, and then for women or for female, we can use negative male. So it means it's not male, it is female. Or we can change into just using female. If it is female, then we can use plus female, or if it is male, then we can use minus female, because minus female means it is male.
Okay, now we are going to talk about kinship. Kinship is a lexical relation with regards to humans' familial relation, which differs from society to society. This means kinship takes in the factor of you relating to your brother, or your sister, or your mother, or your father, basically, your relation with the other members of your family. The proportional contents of kinship are as follows. So the first example here is Harold is Alice's father. Harold here is the theme, and the father of is the predicate, and Alice here is the associate. And the second example follows the same formula. Rose is Jerry's sister, and then Rose is the theme, and sister of is the predicate, while Jerry here is the associate. There are four primitive features to use when using kinship analysis, that is, parent, sibling, offspring, spouse, along with two components. Those are male and female, making up eight basic predicates that you see in the slide right now. So mother, father, wife, husband, daughter, son, sister, and brother. Those eight are the basic predicates. And to write them in the kinship manners, you have to write the component first and then the feature. So for mother, you write F parent, which stands for female parent, and for father, you write M parent, which stands for male parent, and so on and so on. And then, because I say that the kinship system is different from society to society, I'm giving another example here. It is in Tok Pisin. Tok Pisin is a language spoken in New Guinea. However, it's different with its cross-sibling system, which involves the word borata for sibling of the same sex of the speaker and sesta for sibling of different sex, a contrast to English and most European languages which use the same word to refer to a female sibling or male sibling regardless of the sex of the speaker. So, as you can see, if the speaker is female, she has to use borata to refer to her sister and sesta to refer to her brother. And if the speaker is a male, then he has to use borata to refer to his brother and sesta to refer to his sister. So it's different from the English language. So male and female are replaced with same-sex and cross-sex in Tok Pisin, respectively. And then next up, we have consanguineal relations and affinities. Consanguineal relations are relations that exist since birth. So your relations with your mother, father, your siblings, as in your brother and sister. And then affinities are relationships that are established through marriage signified with the suffix in law. So as you can see the examples below, the mother-in-law and father-in-law are two familiar relations that are established through law, and how you write it with spouses F or M parent. So as you can see, we use the basic predicates here to write for the most advanced type of familiar relations. And then next up, I'm going to give you another example of the difference between kinship in English and another language. Here we use Swedish. In English, we have grandmother and grandfather, and both do denote the sex of the person being talked, but they do not signify the sex of the immediate relative. It's a contrast to the Swedish language, which has farmor, farfar, morfar, and mormor. Those four refer to the immediate siblings, I'm sorry, to the immediate relative sex. So, if you use farmer, it's the M parent's F parent, which means it's the father of your mother, which means it's the grandfather from your mother's side. English doesn't signify this, but Swedish does. And then next up, we have English and Russian. So, as we can see, English has limited words actually, but they have wide applications as contrasted to Russian and Swedish. We can see here that English has aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, and cousin, but Russian have many more others that are very specific. So this shows more the cultural difference. So the kinship system doesn't really fit all the languages. It's not universal, but rather it's specific from one language to another. And the last example here is Japanese. As we can see, Japanese has two more features here because Japanese language distinguish one's own kin and others' kin. So for the people that are related to you, you use the feature self, and for the other people that are not related to you, you use the feature other. As we can see here, if we talk about our own wife, we can use tsuma or kanai. But if we refer to other people's wife, then we can use oksan. And it goes on and on and on for every other kind of relation, familiar relation that you might possibly have. So that is all about kinship. Next up, we have hyponymy.
Hyponymy. Let's take a look at these sentences. These sentences are called entailment. 1a. Rover is a collie. 1b. Rover is a dog. 2a. There are tulips in the vase. 2b. There are flowers in the vase. If we know that 1a is true, then we know that 1b must also be true. If we know that 1a is not true, we cannot say anything about the truth of 1b. If we know that 1b is true, we do not know if 1a is true or not. If we know that 1b is not true, then we know that 1a must also not be true. The relation between 2a and 2b is analogous. Collie is a hyponym of dog, and dog is superordinate or hyperonym of collie. The same thing happens to tulip and flower. Any lexeme that can be substituted by a hyponym is also a hyponym. The relationship between two sentences A and B differs only in that A contains a hyponym and B contains a superordinate and can be summarized this way. If A is true, then B must also be true. If A is not true, B is unknown. If B is true, A is unknown. If B is not true, then A also not true. The truth of A entails the truth of B, and the falsity of B entails the falsity of A, but neither the falsity of A nor the truth of B can lead to any certain conclusion about the other. The same information can be presented in tabular form. T means true, F means false, and question mark means the thing is unknown. If we join A and B using and create a redundant sentence called a tautology, a sentence with two predications such as one that entails the other. If we combine two of these sentences but have them differ in polarity, the result is a contradiction, a sentence with two predications, such as one that denies the other. Hyponym and superordinate may be nouns, but the same relation is also found in adjectives and verbs. Sometimes we even find co-hyponyms without a superordinate because of various anomalies in lexical relationships. For example, there is no single word in English that can refer to a knife or a fork or a spoon, but to nothing else, no single word that can take the place of eggs. In a knife is an egg, and a fork is an egg, and a spoon is an egg. This also illustrates the fact that hyponymy is hierarchical. One term may be a superordinate to various hyponyms.
So synonyms used in predications with the same referring expression, the predications have the same truth value. So for example here, A, Jack is a seaman, and B, Jack is a sailor. Jack refers to the same person. The lexemes seaman and sailor are synonyms because both of them have the same meaning, which is someone who navigates ships or other vessels, or one who understands the practical management of ships, or one of the crew of a vessel, or it could be a mariner. So if A is true, then so is B, and vice versa. So synonyms can be nouns, adjectives, adverbs, or verbs. Synonymy is an example of mutual entailment, and synonyms are examples of mutual hyponymy. So, for example, the rock is large or big. Large is a hyponym of big and vice versa, but if we add "and" to the sentences, they become a tautology, which is the rock is large and it is big. Another example of tautology, but with different polarity, is the train traveled fast but it did not travel rapidly. This results in contradiction. The next is verb phrase sentences and dialect differences. So, in verb phrase sentences, for example, in A, Mr. Jenkins is our postman, and in B, Mr. Jenkins is the person who delivers our mail. So, the complex term person who delivers our mail is a verb phrase of the simple term our postman, though we don't call it synonym. Synonyms are typically single lexemes of the same weight. The longer term explains the simple term, but not the other way around. So in dialect differences here, A. Mr. Jenkins is our postman, and B. Mr. Jenkins is our mailman. So postman and mailman here make equivalent predications. This is a dialect differences. Other synonyms could be dialectically different, such as lift and elevator. And then different connotation synonymy. So in A, Alice is thin. B, Alice is slender. The adjective skinny, thin, slender mean the same thing but different in connotation. That is the values that people give to them. So for example in A, a funny story, we can replace funny with the synonymous adjective humorous, which is the same meaning, while in B, a funny feeling. A better synonym for funny is peculiar, because humorous and peculiar are not synonymous with each other. The next slide will be explained by my friend.
So, antonyms are a pair of words that have opposite meanings and they are contradictory to each other when they occur as predicates of the same subject. We can see in these two example sentences, which is for the first one, the television is on now, and then the second one, the television is off now. On and off both contrast each other in meaning, which makes these two sentences to be antonymy with each other. Now, antonyms can be nouns or verbs, but most antonymous pairs are adjective. For example, on and off is an adjective pair, teacher-student is a noun pair, and open-close is a verb antonym pair. In antonymy, there's something called measure adjective. So what are measure adjectives? Here's a few examples of pairs of measure adjectives like long and short, tall and short, high and low, and etc. These are called measure adjectives because they can be combined with expressions of measurement, for example 4 feet long, 2 meters high, etc. And these adjectives are antonymous and their meanings are dependent on the topics they are associated with. For example, even though it's a big rat, this big rat isn't as big as a small elephant. So it depends on the context of what is currently being discussed. In measure adjectives, one is marked and the other is unmarked. Unmarked is the adjective that is used with units of something to express measurement. For example, in the pair old and young, old is the unmarked adjective in the pair because we say the baby is 4 years old instead of the baby is 4 years young. We can see here that old is used to express measurement of age.
And then next we will discuss about binary and non-binary antonyms. Binary antonyms is what you call as antonym relationship with no middle ground, or you can say that it has no scale, while non-binary antonym is antonym relationship with opposite ends of a scale. In binary antonyms, they do not accept modifiers. An organism is either dead or alive. A door is either open or shut. And floor is either clean or dirty. One is either asleep or awake. But language is not logic. Quiet dead, very much alive, wide open, slightly dirty are meaningful expressions. Speakers cannot agree as to whether door, which is ajar, is open or shut, or nor on the precise location of the distinction between clean and dirty. Non-binary antonym, on the other hand, has adjectives that can be easily modified, like very old, rather young, quiet, wide, extremely narrow. Non-binary adjectives are also gradable adjectives like very long, rather short, quiet, strong, somewhat weak, too old, young enough, extremely rude, and utterly happy. And as you can see from those examples, that non-binary antonym has sense of a scale on it. Now we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you all for your attention and for your time to watch this video. This is the slide of appreciation for the creator of this template. If you have any question or feedback regarding our video, please kindly leave your comments in the forum. Thank you.